Taeyou is coming starting on May 5th. Let's take a quick look at him and see whether or not he's worth our bookmarks. With so many things coming up, potential collab, rerun incoming, there's a high possibility that this unit is a bait unit, meaning he's going to steal all your bookmarks and in return give you nothing but heartache and despair as you try to struggle to get enough Covenant bookmarks to summon for other units. But we'll see. Husbandos haven't been a thing recently. Hand guy, one of the main ones, but he came out a while ago. So, you know, hopefully Taeyou is kind of interesting. I don't know. At first glance, he doesn't really catch my eye. I'm all about the husbandos, but let's take a quick look. So he is an ice warrior. Despite his appearance, he does look like a fire unit, but is not a fire unit, is an ice unit, because he has some blue on him. You see the blue? It's like on his cape thing there at the bottom. But anyway, 115 base speed, so not insanely fast. He is a warrior Virgo. He has an imprint release of health, concentration of attack. So right away, that tells me you want to build him potentially bruiser or straight DPS. He has some decent health and defense, so there is a possibility of you building him bruiser. Warriors usually have that bruiserish playstyle, usually. Now it just depends on their other stats, but we will see. So moving on, let's start with skill number 2, Azure Waves of the Open Ocean. After enemy uses a non-attack skill, dispels all debuffs from the caster and becomes enraged for 3 turns. So right away, that reminds me of Infernal Kawazu, right? When you get AoE'd, but that's a little bit different, right? So Infernal Kawazu, you get AoE'd, he full cleanses, heals, and gives himself a CR push. Infernal Kawazu is nowhere right now, so I don't know how useful this is going to be. But again, keep in mind, this is a non-attack skill. So remember Politis, right? Remember how she's still kind of all over the place from time to time. Anytime you have a non-attack skill activator, that unit could potentially be broken, right? So he gets enraged for 3 turns and grants skill nullifier once to the caster. So he has built-in survivability. He has a built-in cleanse. However, it can only be activated once every 4 turns. So just kind of keep that in mind. It's not something that you're going to be able to use one after the other. Here they're bringing him into Para. You'll see the Para go with the S3. He's going to get a full cleanse and he's going to get enraged. So there is no CR push there. So if, I guess, he was going right after that Para. So you have to be insanely fast, which again is going to affect the other stats, because if you put all into speed, then it's going to affect all his damage. But let's see. Tornado Sweep, this is his skill 3, 5-turn cooldown, -1 turn, so down to 4 turns. You know, honestly, I'm not a big fan of super high cooldowns because you're going to go once and that's it. You're probably never going to go again with this skill 3, especially because this actually seems pretty good. So let's take a look. Attacks all enemies, so it's an AoE. He strips 2 debuffs and increases skill cooldowns of the target with the highest attack by 1 turn twice. So he has a skill cooldown increase for any unit that he hits that has the highest attack. So it is an AoE, so you do have a chance at that. But again, you kind of have to build some effectiveness on him if you want to land that semi reset. Increases attack of the caster for 2 turns, so he has a built-in attack buff. When the caster is enraged, dispelling all buffs effect changes into dispelling all buffs. I'm assuming instead of dispelling 2 buffs, it just a full strip all across the board. So they go first, they go with a non-attack skill. He procs his enrage, he gets a cleanse, he gets a skill null, and then he follows that with his S3. potentially stripping all buffs from the enemy team and then resetting the highest attack unit. So it gives you some survivability, it gives you that ability to go into that second turn player style, second turn bruiser. So right away his kit is screaming more support than DPS, but you'll take a look at his skill enhancement. There is a lot of damage. There's a lot of damage. And we'll see hopefully what kind of damage he can deal with the S3 here. So we're looking at, I think, a very similar team. So I think still non-attack skill on that one. There's Infernal Kawazu. He's going with the S3 here. Let's see the kind of damage. Did they have mitigation on their end? I think the only mitigation was the para. So 4K. I don't know. I don't think that's a lot. Full Moon Slash. I think this is probably going to be his bread and butter. So Full Moon Slash here attacks the enemy with a spear and increases combat readiness of the caster by 15%. So it gives himself a CR push. Anytime I see CR push of the caster, I'm thinking counter. I'm thinking counter build, damage dealt increases proportional to the caster's speed. But again, here's that. So I don't know why they put this. They do a skill that's perfect for counter, but then he needs to go fast. So you're going to want to build him fast. He scales with speed. It's so weird. A unit that scales with speed, but at the same time, you kind of want him to be tanky. You want him to deal damage. I don't know. When the caster is in rage, activates Tidal Crash as an extra attack. So he has a built-in extra attack. Tidal Crash can only be activated once per turn during the caster's turn. So there is that. So much for counter, right? He can still give himself CR push by 15%, but one, you want him fast. Two, he's not going to activate Tidal Crash when it's not his turn. So it looks like speed again is going to be the best build potentially for him. Tidal Crash, which is his extra attack, is going to attack the enemy by slashing downward with a spear. Damage dealt increases proportional to the caster's speed. You can soul burn that for 10 souls and it increases the damage dealt by Full Moon Slash. So he gets an attack and then an extra attack. So he has the potential to deal like an insane amount of damage is what I'm thinking. But let's see. So they're going into this Apoc Rabbit. He's only 9k. So he deals 10k damage on his S1 and then he does a follow-up attack and he deals 13k damage. Keep in mind he had attack buff and he was enraged. That's a lot of damage, right? That is a lot of damage, almost 23, 24k damage on the S1 into S1 extra attack. That kind of reminds me of another limited unit, right? It kind of reminds me of Jacko, except her activator to deal more damage is going to be debuffs. So it reminds me of her. He has that skill null, and then you go S3, potentially into S1. There is no extra turn in his kit, so I honestly, I'm not too sure how you're going to follow that up. But I mean, if he's really fast, I guess, I don't know, his kit, it on paper, it seems like it would be really good. The numbers are actually really good, but I don't know. His kit is a little weird. I don't know if he is going to be good, but we'll see, right? He is an ice unit, so it could increase the likelihood of you seeing more violets, more grass units. He does have an artifact that is a warrior exclusive artifact. It increases attack by 10%, so that's the base. If you do max this out, it's a total of 20%. And this is an artifact that I like that they are putting out, in the sense that the attack is the only thing that increases if you max limit break this. Even as a free to play, if we're able to pull one, we're always going to get the effects. And the effects here are: after an enemy uses a non-attack skill, increases combat readiness of the caster by 10%. So here's that CR push. Here's Infernal Kawazu's passive, right? He gets AoE'd, cleanse, he gets vigor, and then he gets CR push. So here's that extra CR push. However, I can definitely see this on a Conqueror Lilius, right? CR push after non-attack skill, like going into a para or something. But again, if you're going into a para, you're probably going to get restricted. So there is that. but this can only be activated once per turn. So after you go, you do have the potential of continuously activating this. So it's not just like once per battle or once every 3 turns. So this could potentially be really strong if it's slapped on the right warrior unit. But other than that, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure how to feel about his kit. His animation is okay. Like I said, I'm up for the husbando love, but it is what it is. I think a lot of units are coming out that we're going to want to save for. There's that collab that's going to be incoming, especially if you don't have units from a potential rerun collab that you might want to pick up. And then who knows when the collab is going to be. I'm assuming it's going to be probably like in the summer sometime. But his banner is dropping next week, May 5th. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Are you going to be pulling for this fire, not fire husbando next week? Let me know in the comment section below. If not, let me know who you're saving for. Like always, if you haven't enjoyed the video, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hey, think about subscribing. It really helps the channel grow and reach more people like you who like content like this. Like always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.